Hello, welcome to Shareability Uganda. I am Kaziba Pius, and in our self-study lesson today we are going to look at pronouns. What is a pronoun? Have you ever heard of pronouns? Have you ever heard someone say pronoun and you don't know its definition or how it is used in English? Well, a pronoun is used in the place of a noun, or it is a word used in the place of a noun. It substitutes the noun in a paragraph or a piece of writing to avoid repetition of the noun. Pronouns can be used in singular and plural forms. The verb used in the sentence should be used in accordance with the particular form of the pronoun used. Pronouns can be generally classified into three main kinds as listed in the table below. We have different types of pronouns, and pronouns can be classified in different types based on their functions. Given below or listed below are the various types of pronouns. We have relative pronouns, possessive pronouns, reflexive pronouns, demonstrative pronouns, interrogative pronouns, indefinite pronouns, personal pronouns, subject pronouns, object pronouns, reciprocal pronouns, and intensive pronouns. Relative pronouns. What do you think are relative pronouns? Or what is a relative pronoun? Well, relative pronouns include what, who, which. A relative pronoun is a word that is used to connect an independent clause to a relative clause. Relative pronouns are meant to provide more information about the subject, a noun or a pronoun it relates to. These relative pronouns function exactly like adjectives, and so the clauses they form can also be called adjective clauses. Examples of relative pronouns include who, whom, whose, which, and that. Let us take a brief look at some examples. How whom is used and how whose or that which are used. The following are some examples of how the relative pronouns who, that, whom, whose, and who can be used in the sentences. Go through these examples and please try to get the real meaning, a deeper understanding of relative pronouns. Next, we have possessive pronouns. Possessive pronouns are pronouns that are used to show possession. Human beings are always known to care a lot about people we are related to and things that we own. Possessive pronouns are used to indicate the ownership of something or someone. Well, a noun can generally be used as a possessive noun just by adding an apostrophe and an s at the end of the noun. Similarly, pronouns can be used to show possession too. It is not by adding an apostrophe or an s. There are pronouns that exclusively function in order to show that a particular person, animal, or an object belongs to a particular someone. For the personal pronoun I, the possessive pronoun would be mine, as in the example. For example, to indicate that I own the blue car, it can be written as that blue car is mine, as in the example below. And for the personal pronoun we, the possessive pronoun would be ours. For example, to indicate that the project that won the first prize belongs to us, it can be written as the project that won the first prize was ours. You can go through the rest of the examples to get an understanding of possessive pronoun. And before us is reflexive pronouns. The word reflexive means something that is directed towards the self. The reflexive pronoun, therefore, is expected to do the same thing. It reflects back on the pronoun. It takes the place of a subject pronoun and an object pronoun in a sentence. Following are the examples and the usage of reflexive pronouns. Examples of how we can use reflexive pronouns. Like in this sentence, they looked at them. In that first example, the sentence, they looked at them. In that example, there is a slight confusion with the usage of them in the first sentence. We cannot be sure of them. We cannot be sure if them refers to some other person or themselves. This is where the reflexive pronoun stands out to be extremely helpful in providing complete meaning. And in the second example, I learned to drive a car by myself. In that example 2, it is understood from the first sentence that the action of learning to drive a car is done alone and without any help. Whereas the second sentence, I learned to drive a car. The first sentence is, I learned to drive a car by myself, and the second sentence is, I learned to drive a car. In the second sentence, the reader may think that the subject would have taken someone's help to drive a car. Whereas in the first sentence, the action of learning to drive a car is done alone and without any help. As we move on quickly, we go to demonstrative pronouns. Among the different types of pronouns, demonstrative pronouns can be a little confusing, as the same words are also used as demonstrative adjectives. To help you understand how they differ and how to use demonstrative pronouns, please go through the examples and follow along in this video. You can go through this table and try to read and understand how we can use demonstrative pronouns. And next we have interrogative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns are basically used to ask questions. They help us in asking questions. Human beings, both young and old, are inquisitive and we love to discover new things every now and then. Asking questions might be one of the most enjoyable things that we usually do. Interrogative pronouns help us with undeniable curiosity by letting us frame questions. In this article, therefore, we shall learn about interrogative pronouns and how they can be used. An interrogative pronoun, like its name suggests, is used to ask questions. It refers to something or someone. What, which, who, and whose are the 5 interrogative pronouns we have in English. Let us jump quickly to some few examples. Example 1. Who was the keynote speaker? Nick was the keynote speaker. In that example, Nick is the subject and the interrogative pronoun who can therefore be said to be the subject pronoun. And the second example, whom did you speak to? I spoke to Mrs. Claire. In that example, Mrs. Claire is the object that the subject I spoke to. So it can be said that interrogative pronoun whom is an object pronoun. Let us move quickly to the next type of pronouns, which is indefinite pronouns. Well, pronouns do not just refer to a particular person, animal, place, or thing. It can also be used to refer to to no specific person, animal, or thing, and to an indefinite amount of things, like measures. So, if you're asked what is an indefinite pronoun, an indefinite pronoun is a pronoun that is used to substitute nouns that are not specific. Indefinite pronouns can be used in singular and plural forms as in the table below. So please, indefinite pronouns are quite cheap. You can go through the table and understand them on your own. If you can read this, do that. Then we have personal pronouns. Well, in the English language, there are many different grammatical components that are employed when building a strong context to avoid the text form from looking monotonous or repetitive. Pronouns belong to such a category. Therefore, pronouns are generally formed by the that as subjects in a piece of writing. Personal pronouns, however, are monosyllabic words that are used to substitute proper nouns that repeat itself in a particular context. A personal pronoun indicates the number and gender of the corresponding noun. In the table below, I listed examples of personal pronouns and how basically they are used. Personal pronouns can be broadly classified into three main categories: the first person pronoun, the second person pronoun, and third person pronoun. These pronouns are used in the nominative and objective format, and the singular and plural forms. As you can see the table, these are the categories or how personal pronouns are categorized. Let us move on quickly. There are some special pronouns which are not gender sensitive, like the singular and plural you. Like in the example, you are from China, right? In that sentence, you can be a male or female. And then the next example, did you do your assignment? In that assignment, in that sentence, you can refer to a singular or plural noun and also a group of male or female students. Next, we can have the pronoun they and them. The third person pronouns they and them can be used when the gender of a third person singular pronoun is neutral or cannot be determined. For example, everyone has to make sure if he or she has his or her ID cards before he or she goes into the examination hall. When you have to write for the general public, people use he or she, him or her. It can also be written as everyone has to make sure if they have their ID cards before they go into the exam hall. Then we have me and I. Among the subject and object pronouns, the pronouns me and I are the ones that are not used correctly most of the time. This could be made easy if you understand the idea that the pronoun I is always used as the subject pronoun and the pronoun me is always used as the object pronoun. For example, Johnny, Jesse, and me went to watch a movie last night. That is incorrect, and the correct usage would be Johnny, Jesse, and I went to watch a movie last night. And example 2. All that I would need for the next 2 years were given to me on the first day. The pronoun me is used here because it is the object of the sentence that is receiving the action. Next, we jump on to subject pronouns. Subject pronouns are pronouns that perform the action in the sentence. So a subject pronoun is a word that is used in the place of a noun. It plays the role of a subject in the sentence. Subject pronouns are usually placed in the first part of a sentence, just before the verb to indicate the doer of the action. For example, I go to school every day. The pronoun I is doing the action of going to school every day and is the subject in the sentence. And the next, we are traveling to Paris next week. The pronoun we refers to the subject who is currently doing the action of traveling to Paris. You can go through the rest of the examples. And then we have object pronouns. Object pronouns are words that are used to substitute nouns that play the role of the object in the sentence. And the examples following are the listed below are some of the examples of object pronouns used in sentences. Like for example, Baron bought a canvas sheet. Baron bought it. The object here is a canvas sheet and it can be substituted by the object pronoun it. Jessica and Lorana met met Kelly in the evening. And the object here is Kelly. It can be substituted by the object pronoun her. And it becomes Jessica and Lorana met her in the evening. Let's look at reciprocal pronouns. Reciprocal pronouns are words that are used to indicate a mutual relationship between two subjects or objects. Each other and one another are the only two reciprocal pronouns in the English language. You can go through the examples in the table below and understand the usage of each other and one another to understand what reciprocal pronouns are and how they are used. You can pause the video and go through these tables, go through the examples. You can get a book and a pen and take some notes. And lastly, but not least, we have intensive pronouns. Well, there is some confusion always between reflexive and intensive pronouns. What is an intensive pronoun? If I'm asked, an intensive pronoun is so similar to a reflexive pronoun that in most cases it confuses English learners. It would become a lot easier if you understood how each of the pronouns functioned differently. An intensive pronoun is a pronoun that is used to provide emphasis on the action the subject does in a sentence. In the table below is a list of intensive pronouns with examples that you can have a look at. And students, thanks for watching this video. Thanks for following up the end. That is all for today about pronouns. Please practice. You can rewind the video and watch it. Get some exercises, do them, practice the different pronouns in sentences. God bless you. Thanks for watching.